I'm sorry for the delay. I am trying to figure out some technical issues here. I was going to start in the lobby of the post office, but there's people actually working here today, so. Okay. I am trying something a little different today. I'm actually using cell data in order to film this, doing it live remotely without Wi-Fi, and I am simultaneously doing a live using both of my channels. That is both Storylock and Stories Lost and Found is receiving this stream. I do not know how well it's working out. I cannot see YouTube. I just have StreamYard that is accomplishing this goal. I can see Chaz73 unlocked and Pocket Woman all here. This here is the local post office. And back here we can find the cornerstone and find that it was built in 1938. So across the street there, that was the Napa store for decades, and they moved across town, so they didn't close. But over here, at one point in this town, and Emmetsburg only has 3,000 people, but that apparently was enough people for the Irish Catholics in town to split into two churches. And the one of the two Catholic churches was near this location. The couple that bought this used to be a Catholic convent, and according to the couple who own it, and you couldn't find nicer people, this building is haunted. I have never, I mean, I've visited them at their house before. I've never actually done a tour and seen the second floor or anything, and this copper dome you can see making up the gazebo used to be part of one of the towers of the Catholic Church before it was torn down. As I am seeing updates on the chat, I assume that the live is working. It says I have 8 people. Leave in the comments if you're interested in seeing a tour of that house. I can talk to Ed and his wife and see if they'd be willing to allow me to film a tour. I don't know. This is the Episcopal Church. For a town of 3,000, we have maybe a dozen churches. So you can see down that way, maybe a bit far away for the camera, I don't know. There's a Casey's, which is a regional convenience store, and a Sinclair Station, which is another regional gas station and convenience store. Here we have Hughes Pharmacy. And I'm showing Hughes on this side first because this over here, where you can see the marquee sitting out, for decades was owned by Fridley Theaters. I'll apologize for the sound of traffic, but this is the main highway in town, so and Main Street. But this was owned by a regional chain called Fridley Theaters, and at some point they decided that they had to close down the theaters that were not, it's a bit icy here, so they decided to close the theaters that were not profitable, and Hughes Pharmacy, the owner of Hughes Pharmacy, decided to buy this theater and keep it open for the community. So this building next to it has been a wide range of things. There used to be a computer store there and a few other things. There's a business in there now called Free Spirit Nest, and I'm not sure what that is. The building itself was built in 1903. No, this is not rush hour, but you know, it doesn't get much busier, so yeah, you could look at it that way. When I moved to Emmetsburg, the white building there was an antique store. That went out of business, I think, because the woman retired, and they opened a pizzeria that ended up only in the back end. That yellow banner is advertising because they bought this entire building, but because of the pandemic, they've never needed the full building. The brick building next to it used to be a Masonic building, and they added a steel roof on top of it and rent that out to a couple different businesses. Across the street here used to be the Ben Franklin's, which I'm not even sure how many people in the Midwest remembers Ben Franklin. It was what is called a 5 and dime in America. And sort of what we now call a dollar store, I guess. It had a wide range of, it was like a department store with lower cost product. The building that has been behind me is a 3-story building that used to be Wigdall's Hardware, which was located both here in Emmetsburg and over in a neighboring town called Ruthven. And the couple that owned that retired, and it became a bar called the Cornerstone. I'll cover these buildings up here when I double back. I'm not exactly sure how to effectively make a grid pattern here, but it is currently 20 degrees and is minus 20 Celsius, so it's a bit chilly out here. Obviously, when the Ben Franklin closed, they got a flea market type setup. I have a friend who knows the owner, but I do not know him personally. Yesterday was in the 40s, so we had some thawing, which makes this morning rather treacherous at places with ice. And in case you're wondering why I'm not using my gimbal, is because my gimbal requires an app on the phone, so I can't run StreamYard and that app at the same time. Dana Reed remembers Ben Franklin's. At least somebody does. I do not know what some of these buildings are because they have been around decades before I arrived. So the one marked Horizons Unlimited, you have several host houses in the town. that they provide housing for people that are mentally challenged and try to help them live as normal of life as possible, trying to arrange employment and so forth, but providing them a living situation where someone is there all the time to help them out. And that one next to it used to be a Brinks Building, which is a security firm and banking, but became the county engineer and county attorney. The gray building there is the current city hall. I'm not sure what the secondhand store used to be. Hello, Explore Malaysia. Hello, Abandoned and Forgotten Whales. And the other side of the boat. And Cynthia seems to be here as well. This building here and the one next to it used to belong to the phone company back when it was a more regional phone company. Then it was owned by the company I worked for before they sold it. You can see signs of the days of the phone company still here with abilities to put payments here, but across the street here, this used to be a bank and then was owned by the phone company. And as you can tell from the cell tower, it was that, but now it is an insurance company of Farm State, which is a national insurance chain. And we are nearly at the end of the portion of the downtown that is on Main. The stoplight back there is the intersection between US Highway 18 and State Highway 4. And if I had headed south there, that would have been going down on Broadway. We'll be back on Broadway in a little bit. This used to be a gas station. I believe it was a DX station. I don't even think that chain exists anymore, but it is now a really good barbecue place called Edgewater. The white brick building you have probably not seen from this angle before. This is the building where I spend most of my work days. That is Smarts Broadcasting's manufacturing building and the site of several of my lives. And then we turn into, well, we have the Ford dealership here, and we have our grain elevator, which anyone who lives in a small town in Iowa, or for that matter, the Midwest, will have grain elevators. There's about 3 blocks of residential, and then there is a Quick Star. Quick Star, Dana will be familiar with Quick Star. Quick Star are called Quick Trips in Wisconsin, but there was a Quick Trip franchise from Missouri that was open in southern Iowa, and Quick Trip, one spelled K-W-I-K and one spelled Q-U-I-K. And they were headed to court, and they settled with the Wisconsin-based KWIK Quick Trip turning into Quick Star for where they had places in the state of Iowa. We have the volunteer fire department there. Off to the left here, I don't know how much the sun is making it impossible to see, is a tire dealership. Beyond the volunteer fire department is the police headquarters. Here, get you a shot of the stained glass windows. This, at one point, was the Presbyterian Church. The building was built in 1896, and I am not sure why the Presbyterian Church closed, but it became a bridal boutique, and they also sell prom dresses and red tux called the Heavenly Creations. Oh, bad news. I just got low battery notice. I didn't realize I'd run out of battery that quickly. Well, let's see what we can do before the phone just dies on me. We started out at 100%. I'll have to have a part 2 next week where it'll probably be warmer than it is this week. This little brick building here, if you are from the U.S. and live in a small town, you are familiar with Carnegie Libraries. I think Carnegie even built libraries in bigger towns. Carnegie was part of the American Gilded Age in the late 19th century, made a fortune, and then as he got closer to retirement, decided to donate all his funds. And when he was growing up, he had a hard time finding books. So he decided to build a series of public libraries in communities. This particular Carnegie Library closed when they built the community center and moved the library out there. And Iowa State built an agricultural extension office here. It tells me we're at 10%, so we're going to have to wrap this up here soon. I can get in somewhere warm. Up here is our courthouse. You couldn't see much of the sheriff's office. I'll cover that in the next live, and we'll see how well that works. This building here, which has some nice architectural spirals. At some point, it was called the House of Dolls. I have no idea when that was. I don't even know what that was. It was before I came here. But this was the original city hall for Emmetsburg. And we're at 20 minutes. These are going to make short lives due to battery life. May have to get an updated phone so we live longer. So there's the courthouse again. The courthouse is situated on a rectangle. But we'll get a closer look at that next Sunday. When we apparently make 20-minute lives so that we and run out of battery life. This is one of the numerous banks in town, Iowa Trust and Savings. I'm not sure when this building went up. It's fairly new. I think it's probably the 1960s. And I'm going to try to reach the end of the block before the battery goes out. Yeah, battery pack or solar battery might not be a bad idea. This building here on the front has businesses, but is otherwise, as you can tell from the mailboxes, turned into apartments. This apartment number 9 used to be a Mexican restaurant at one point, but that went out of business. And I don't know which apartment gets the grand view up there, but looking down this way, we have Don Jose's, which is our current Mexican restaurant, coffee shop, a salon. We have a lot of salons in town. And then a real estate office. And as Broadway is not busy and I can cross the street, I will do so. Oh, my only regret choosing not to continue at my current career and not becoming a locksmith is the fact that there was a locksmith when I came here, but he has since retired. And so everybody in this town, 3,000 people, have to rely on locksmith shops that are 90-minute drives from here. So, and it is certainly a commodity this town needs. And we are back to the post office. The phone just told me it only has 5% battery life left, so I think we are nearly at an end of our journey, and we've covered about half of the downtown. So next week, we'll see if we can figure out a way to extend the battery life of the phone. Oh. Yeah, I'm sure, Toll Road, that the cold probably isn't doing the battery life much good. But... Well, I am back in the car. We got 22 minutes out of it, maybe a third of the downtown. Oh, I do not have a plug to do that, I'm afraid, Lowell. So, yes, the Starry Mobile. Quick, Robin, to the Starry Mobile. I will continue this downtown tour next Sunday. Like I said, I only covered about 5 blocks down and 5 blocks back, so a little bit of the downtown. There's still more to see. So I might as well do a wrap up before the battery just dies. Take care, everyone, and we will see you soon.